Hi everyone. So in our last class, we covered the topic on planning. What actually do you mean by planning? I went through with the definitions of planning. I clearly explained what actually planning meant. Then I further explained the different types of plans. There were two major types of plan, that is single use plan and standing plan. Also I explained the concepts with respect to objectives. What do you mean by objectives? What do you mean by strategies? What do you mean by rules? So these are all the concepts we dealt with in last class. So the main intention was to get a clear understanding with respect to a concept called as planning. So in this particular presentation session, we shall try to cover one important topic with respect to planning, and also this topic is very much important from exam point of view. So the topic we are going to cover in this particular class is steps in planning. So this can be asked in your examination, as this particular question has been asked in the previous year question papers many times. So we shall try to understand this particular concept in a general way, because whenever you are trying to understand or get through a particular concept, it should be understood in a generic way. Then only you will get that particular concept to be imprinted in your head. So first of all, what actually do you mean by a plan? As I had already explained in my previous session, planning is nothing but you are creating a roadmap based on all the resources available, based on the manpower available, based on considering all the external and internal factors. You will create a roadmap. Why you need to create a roadmap? Because there will be some objectives, there will be some goals. Those objectives and goals needs to be achieved. So in order to achieve those goals and objectives, you need to have a roadmap. That roadmap will be created based on many factors. Creation of such a roadmap to achieve the objectives or goals is called as planning. So in a particular organization, especially if you consider an organization such as Infosys, Accenture and many such organizations, it might be even a college. So in any particular organization, there should be a clear-cut process whenever you are performing the planning activity. That clear-cut process consists of 7 main steps. So it is quite a lengthy topic, so I am going to divide this particular topic discussion into 2 presentation sessions. So in this particular presentation session, we shall try to cover the first 3 steps of planning. So in my next presentation session, I will cover the remaining steps which is available. So let us start with the first step. So what is the first step? So before starting the activity called as planning, first you need to identify what are all the goals you need to achieve. Because why you are doing planning? In order to achieve goals. Without knowing the goals, you cannot do planning activity. So first you need to identify what are all the goals that needs to be achieved. And also in those set of goals, you need to identify verifiable goals. What do you mean by verifiable goals? Those goals which can be achieved, they must be feasible enough. You cannot set goals which is impossible to achieve. So you should establish or you should identify your verifiable goals or set of goals which needs to be achieved by an organization. ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ನು ಯಾವ ಗೋಲ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಆ ಗೋಲ್ಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರು ವೆರಿಫೈಯಬಲ್ ಗೋಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಕಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಥವಾ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆನಿ ಸಬ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಅಟ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ಸೊ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ of an enterprise or an organization needs to be identified. So usually whenever an organization is identifying the objectives, it is usually done by the top level management people. CEOs ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ವೈಸ್ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಟಾಪ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ who will be deciding your enterprise objectives. So they will chalk out all the things. There will be many set of objectives. Out of all those set of objectives, they will consider only a limited, important, prioritized objectives. This will be decided by the top level management of an organization. They will have a huge role to play in deciding the enterprise objectives. So the objectives which will be identified by the top level management will be of many types. Your objectives won't be a single form, or it won't be of a particular type. There can be many different types of objective. You can categorize all those different types of objectives. What are all the different categories? What are all the different types of objectives? It can be desired sales. A particular organization called as an Infosys will have some 100 amount of laptops to be sold. Microsoft has an 100 amount of operating system to be sold. So they have some desired number. So that can be one of the objective. What will be the number of sales that can happen, that should happen, that can be set as an objective. Development of a new product. Suppose if Microsoft is developing one more operating system, it can be considered as developing a new product. It can also be considered as an objective, or it can be a service. Product development company and service development company are different. Service development company are mainly intended to providing service. Service can be given for the best example for service development companies, TCS. TCS provides services to passport. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಏನೇ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರು TCS ಕಂಪ್ನಿ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾದ್ರು ಹೊಸದೇನಾದ್ರು ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ನ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪಾಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಸೇವಾ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆವಾಗ ದಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡೆಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್. And work, you can also set an objective to be more active in an organization. That can also become an objective. So these are all the different types of objectives you can identify in an organization. This is the second substep. And the third subset is that how you will define a goal. So once an organization is deciding a goal, on what basis that particular organization will decide the goal? There needs to be some criteria, right? An organization just cannot come in and decide its goals. There needs to be some information for that particular organization to decide the goals. So what are all the information the organization will have to decide about their goals are that what is the basic mission of an organization? Suppose in college, the basic mission of college is to provide education to the students. So based upon that particular basic mission of the organization, you can set some objectives, you can set some goals. So that can be considered as one information which will be useful in setting your goals. The value your managers hold. Some of the managers might be of the view of only making money. Some of the managers might be of the view of providing service to the people. So based on the values your managers will hold, that also will decide what type of goals you are setting for your organization. And also the actual and potential abilities of an organization. An organization might be very much capable enough to perform well. An organization might be not that much capable to perform well in the market. So you should identify all those abilities with respect to an organization. So once you identify the abilities, then you can clearly set what are all the goals that particular organization can achieve. So these are all the sub-steps you need to follow whenever you are establishing or identifying the goals or verifiable goals an organization can achieve. So this is the first step in planning. What is the first step? In order to recognize, in order to establish, or I can say in order to identify the goals the organization needs to achieve, those goals should also be verifiable goals, or I can say they should also be feasible goals. Now we shall move on to the next step. The second step is establishing planning premises. This is an important step with respect to planning. So what actually planning premises will do? That means this planning premises will provide information. It will provide facts, important facts. What sort of facts, what sort of information your planning premises will provide? It will provide information, it will provide facts about the future. So whenever you are making a plan in order to achieve some goals, you need to have information and facts about the future. Because then only you can make realizable goals, then only you can make goals which can be achieved. So without having information about future, in future anything can happen. So you need to have some judgments with respect to future. So once you know what might happen in the future, you can make your planning to be much more efficient, much more effective. Now we shall observe what are all the facts and information your planning premises can provide. So planning premises is nothing but you will be knowing the facts and info relating to the future. So once you know the facts and info relating to the future, you can make better plans. What are all the facts and info you can know with respect to future? The first one can be population trends. So you are developing a product today. So you need to decide whether in future this product will be in demand or not. You need to have a imagination. You need to judge the trend of the population in the future. The trend of the population needs to be properly judged. Then economic condition of a particular country. You are developing a product. You should also know the economic condition of a country in the future. So when you know the economic condition of a country is good, then the chances of your product getting sold heavily will be high. So you should know the economic condition. If the economic condition is going down, then your product sales might also go down. So you should know about the economic conditions of a particular country. Production cost. So you decided with a particular product. You should also be familiar what are all the costs you might incur when developing that particular product. So it should be minimal enough. It should be as planned enough. So you plan to develop a product for 50 rupees, but it will take 500 rupees. That is not proper planning. So you should be familiar with the production cost that might take for a product to be developed. So if you have all such information, then you can properly develop a plan. So that is the third step. The fourth one is competitiveness. You should observe other organizations, other industries, because they also might be developing a product which is quite similar to your product. In such a case, you need to decide whether to proceed with the product or to make any changes with your product. All those things needs to be considered with respect to competitiveness. What is the capital and material availability? You are going with the new product, whether there is enough capital available. Capital means money. Whether there is enough capital available to go with the product, that needs to be decided. Whether there is enough material, resources, raw materials available to go ahead with the product, that needs to be decided. So these all things needs to be considered before proceeding with a plan. And also government control. So whenever you are going for a product, whether this product will get nod from the government, whether government will give permission to sell this particular product, whether government will facilitate the easy sale of this particular product. So these are all the things, these are all the facts and information you can obtain with respect to future, which is nothing but planning premises. Once you obtain all these facts and information with respect to future, then you can make a better plan. So once you are making a better efficient plan, then you can easily achieve your goals. You can easily successfully implement your goals. So in planning premises, there are three major category of planning premises. They are internal and external premises, tangible and non-tangible premises, and the last one is controllable and non-controllable premises. So we shall go in detail with respect to each of the category of premises. First of all, what do you mean by planning premises? Planning premises is nothing but obtaining facts and information relating or with respect to future. That is called as planning premises. So when you are having information about the future, then you can make better plan. Once you make better plan, then the chances of your goals being achieved will be very much high. Your objectives achieved will be very much high. So the three categories, the first category is internal and external premises. As the name itself suggests, what are all the information and facts you are getting inside an organization? That is called as internal premises. What are all the facts and information you are getting outside an organization? That is called as external premises. We shall see some examples with respect to internal premises and external premises. The examples can be sales forecast. So I might forecast that after 4 months, after 5 months, thousands units of my particular product will get sold. That is an internal forecast. So sales forecast. And policies and programs of an organization. So based on the policies, an organization might be having some policies, some programs. So this can be an internal information with respect to organization. Based on this information, you can make some changes to your plans. So this is an example for internal. The skills of labor. So if you are having an organization with highly skilled labor, then you can make quite efficient plan. You can make the necessary changes needed in the plan, so you can achieve goals which are very much difficult because you are having skilled laborers. And also the investment needed for a particular plant. All this information will be considered under the category of internal premises. So if this information is available to a planner, he can make better plans. Some of the examples of external premises are demand of a particular product. That will be external because you need to identify the trend, population trend. Based on the trend which is currently going on in the market, you can decide the demand of a particular product. And also the resource available to an enterprise. The resources won't be available inside an organization. The resources needs to be obtained outside the organization. So based on the resources available to your organization, you can make the necessary changes to the plans. So this is the first set of premises, that is internal and external premises. The next category of premises, planning premises, is tangible and non-tangible. As the name itself suggests, tangible means anything you can measure. So if you can measure